It is finally ready. I conducted an interview with Linkable and Niru, who are two of the people that helped put together this seasonal, almost avant-garde tournament called ARMS Colosseum. If you're unfamiliar with what the Colosseum is, this interview will explain exactly that, and I'll also have a link to the Colosseum Discord down in the description if you'd like to learn more. Also in the description will be a link to the newly launched ARMS Colosseum official website. If you're interested in becoming a gym leader or a gym trainer in the upcoming season, the application is now available for that on that website. It's unsure exactly when the actual participant sign up will start, or even when season 2 will start yet, but just follow the website and the Discord, and I'm sure we'll know about that in the next few weeks. I just wanted to put this intro here to explain that I know that the audio isn't up to par with my normal videos. It's definitely listenable, but I had troubles recording the Discord chat. That's kind of a headache if anyone has tried to do that before, but I promise you the next time that I interview anyone, the audio will be 100 times better. And lastly, I'd just like to thank Niru and Linkable again for taking the time to chat with me. And I'd also like to thank MyLeave, who let me use her footage of the season finals between Pineapple Freak and Resolve that you'll be watching in the background for this interview. I'll put a link to her Twitch down in the description. She's an awesome ARMS streamer and you should check her out. And without further ado, apologies for the long-winded intro. Enjoy.
Friends of the culture. So one of the big narratives that I like to push on this channel revolves around this idea that Nintendo's developing these awesome competitive games, but when it comes to managing the competitive scene and building that community around them, they've sort of dropped the ball. I mean, if Discord and YouTube didn't exist, I probably wouldn't even speak to anyone that plays ARMS, and this is something that you don't see with most modern games. With platforms like Steam and Battle.net, it's not even a big conversation anymore because communication has been streamlined so much on every platform but the Switch. But that being said, Nintendo did create some really fun competitive games in ARMS and Splatoon, and they're good enough that quite a few members of the community have taken it upon themselves to provide a more compelling and social experience within these games. And today with me I have a couple of these guys who have created something called the ARMS Colosseum. So let's see what they have to say about it. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing fine.
Awesome. So, Linkable, how did you guys meet each other, or how did you get into the game at first?
Well, we went through the test punch, and it was one of the few things that actually got us into the game, where we just tested out all the characters and see what the game modes were. And it just clicked after that once we got the game.
Yeah, I think those test punches and then the Splatfest things, those were great. That I probably wouldn't have even picked ARMS up if I didn't play the test punch though. But and how about you, Nero? How did you get into the game? Did you guys play any other fighting games before, like Smash or anything?
Oh yeah, I definitely played Smash back when that was it 2014, and then I played that for hours on end. Shulk was my main, and then when this fighting game came out, it was like when it was first announced on the Nintendo Direct, I said to myself, I'm gonna get that. It's cool. And then a test punch came, and I was just messing around with throwing arms at each other, doing grabs, learning all the intricacies. It's pretty interesting how that turned out. And yeah, and then I bought the game, started playing it, and then yeah, found my way here to the Discord. Just wanted to fight other people.
Right. Yeah, this Discord, your guys' Discord is even better than like the Reddit Discord or a lot of other ARMS Discords I've seen so far. What do you guys think that is about your Discord? Do you think it's just all the high-level players together, or?
We try to make the ARMS Colosseum as professional as possible and try to make sure everyone is able to be kind to everyone else, because we don't want to have conflict between other members. We want the community to be together and have fun with the game.
Right. So I guess a lot of people listening to this might not know what the ARMS Colosseum is, and I think it's safe to say that you guys might have drawn maybe some inspiration from Pokemon for this idea.
I just thought of an idea with all the characters being there and just having the characters try to defend a gym while trying to make other players improve. It just came in naturally to me for some odd reason. And then the community just wanted to come on in and help out as well. It was really weird, but I'm glad it actually happened.
Yeah. Did you guys put the idea out there and then people came to you, or was there like a small group that started it all?
At first it was a small group, and then we just asked for volunteers pretty much from the whole community. And then after that, everything just happened. It was weird.
Like, it was very interesting how Linkable just proposed the idea one day. It just, what if we just do this? And then all of a sudden, everyone was just getting riled up about it. Everyone was getting excited and hyped up about it. And then we just started a Discord and started brainstorming all these ideas from here on then. Then, amazingly, how the volunteer process worked, like, I was just so amazed and humbled that all these high-level players, all these diversities and skill levels are just like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a go. Like, I'll help out in the Colosseum. And then next thing you know, yeah, it just happened. Like Nicole said, it was very weird.
Yeah, but I think the weirdest thing to me is that they're so willing to give out so much time. I mean, this must be like almost like a part-time job with all the scheduling and all the battles that you have to do. I'm sure it's a lot of time.
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like a part-time job to me, but I still love it all the same because I get to see all these interactions with all the players.
Pretty great what you guys are doing. So I just want to explain, like fully explain how the Colosseum works to people who might not fully understand it. They haven't maybe navigated the Discord. So basically it's like I said, it's like Pokemon. So you have different gyms, but instead of like types for the gyms in Pokemon, you have character-themed gyms. So you'll have a gym leader, like a Ribbon Girl gym leader, and then trainers. That's basically how it works, right?
Correct. We usually have one or two trainers in a gym, but then we also have the leader or the head of the gym. What you have to do basically is defeat either one of the gym trainers. You can battle the other trainer as well for extra points because we created a point system as well. But you only are required to beat one trainer to beat the gym leader. Once you get 8 gym badges, then you would be able to face the Elite Four. However, if you get more gym badges, you can actually gain more points through it.
Okay, right. So in the end, all that really mattered was the points, right?
In a way, if you actually go and get all the gym badges, you could get a secret reward.
Okay. And right, like you said, you had to go through all the gyms to get to the Elite Four, and that was kind of like the big point getter for everyone, really, right?
Correct.
So I noticed, I went through the whole Google form, and I noticed that you guys had a Silver League. That was something I was kind of interested in at first, because that might be more appropriate for my skill level, but did you guys pursue that anymore, and how did that end up turning out? I followed the finals for the Gold League, but how did the Silver League end up turning out?
I feel like the Silver League was just an idea in the works to see how many people would actually like it. The Silver League was actually supposed to be revolved around the mini games in ARMS, such as volleyball, hoops, and skill shot. But it wasn't as popular as the actual 1v1s as I thought, but there was only like 3 or 4 people actually signed up for it. So it was kind of, I would say, just a false or failed plan in the Colosseum. However, we're going to be mixing it up for the next season.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was curious about, is maybe you could integrate the mini games into just the regular system. Can you talk about that anymore right now, or is that kind of still in the works?
It's sort of similar. It's sort of in the works at the moment. However, we have a general idea of actually making the Silver League similar to what the Party Crashes are right now. We're trying to see what we can do in terms of special rules and whatnot.
Yeah, so instead of mini games, we would just probably try out traditional matches, but instead of usual loadouts, there would be specific traits or attributes that you would have to have on your loadout. Say, maybe it has to be a fire element, maybe it has to be a certain color, or maybe your character has to be either this or that based on certain attributes. And that's some of the things that we're working on. Nothing's finalized yet. But,
Okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. That sounds like it could be a good idea. So, so with the Gold League is what everyone participated in. What was your process for choosing the gym leaders? I know that you had like an application process for everything, but how did you guys make the final decision?
For the first season, we actually really didn't have an application for it, to be honest. We were trying to see if it was a group effort for the first season, and surprisingly, it all just worked out. For the second season, however, we're going to be making an application, which is almost done, actually. It should be out sometime this weekend, maybe? We're going to be allowing other people in the community become gym trainers and gym leaders for Season 2. However, the Elite Four, we're going to personally pick them out.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So you're not just carrying over the gym leaders from last year, or will there be some of the same, or are you just doing a completely new thing?
It really depends on the gym trainers and leaders. If they are willing to go into the second season, they are more than welcome to. I don't mind that at all, actually. But if it happens to be multiple positions for a gym leader or multiple applicants, we would have to see who would be better in terms of skill. Sort of like a best of 3 match, using whatever arms they wish, just to see how they play and see if they're worthy of being a gym leader.
Alright, okay. And I asked, did you guys have, I think I noticed, did you guys have any gym leaders quit throughout the season? And how did that go? Like, was it difficult to keep the system going when people were quitting? Or how did you remedy the situation?
yeah, there are some difficulties regarding. There were some gym leaders that dropped at the start or mid of the season, and I mean that's not something I would antagonize for because it's hard. Like scheduling, consistent schedule to fight matches is pretty tough. But the way we remedy that is we pretty much just scouted for whoever could substitute, and in the end, still like there were still people willing to fill in the spots, and I'm just pretty humbled and amazed by that people were still able to fill in gyms despite the late time frame.
Yeah, the subs would probably help. That's awesome that people are willing to step up. Okay, so the Elite Four, these guys are really hard. I mean, we got Gore Magalo was in there, correct?
Yep.
And then Resolve being the season champion. Those are some big names there. I'm just wondering, do you guys ever see them becoming too good for the Arms Colosseum, or do you think it's healthy to have such a high level of skill even for just the average person participating in the Colosseum? You get what I mean?
Well, yeah. I understand, and we had gotten a lot of complaints saying that it was either too hard or just impossible. And I personally apologize for that, because when we were actually volunteering or having people volunteer for it, those two, they step up on the first opportunity to become the Elite Four because they thought it was just a fun idea. And I wanted to see how difficult it could be with the Elite Four rules from the original games of Pokemon, where you only have to have one loadout throughout the entire Elite Four gauntlet.
We were testing the waters on that one. It was pretty much. It could have been as hard as it could have been, considering we put Gore and Resolve. Like, I mean, before we even set this Colosseum out on its launch, like people were saying that might be a little hard. I think that's impossible. Like the odds are just like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. And I was like, no, someone's gonna come in there and beat it. I have a feeling, because if someone does beat it, they're automatically a legend in my eyes. And I'm just like, yeah, let's try that. And
I
then
definitely agree with you. I think it makes it a lot more epic when it's such big stakes. I mean, those last rounds with Pineapple, even though he didn't get too many rounds in, it was a really exciting thing to watch because it was Resolve and Pineapple. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah. I was actually amazed about that double KO that happened.
that double KO. That was like,
oh, yeah.
That was the only one in the Colosseum for that whole season. I was like, oh my gosh.
And I'm glad it went on screen too, because holy cow.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened that Pineapple did, but I wasn't able to record it because at the time my internet was kind of iffy, was Pineapple actually perfected Gore in a round. And I do have screenshots of that I can send later if you wish.
Oh, wow, yeah, I'd love to see that. Was that in, like, an Arms Coliseum match, or was that just
Yes, that was in an Elite Four match.
Oh, wow.
That was Pineapple's first attempt, and he just blazed through it. I'm just like, wait, he beat Gord? I was at work. I was just checking my Discord. I was like, what? No! What? No!
Oh, so Pineapple perfected him. I thought you said Resolve.
No, Pineapple. Pineapple.
Wow. That's awesome. So, speaking of the streams, your regular streamer, the only one I could find streaming the Arms Coliseum matches was My Leave, right?
Correct.
And how did you guys get in contact with her?
I've actually been a regular viewer of her streams at sometimes, and I've gotten to the point where I feel like I trusted her to become one of the actual streamers for the Arms Coliseum. I could have asked other streamers as well, but I felt like I understood what Malieve did and also planned as well when she did her streams. So it was just the first choice for me for some reason.
Cool. Yeah, I was just curious. She is pretty funny. She's getting good at the casting too. I started watching the matches in the beginning of the season, and then like in those finals, you could just it felt a lot more natural, even between you two, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm running into my last questions here. Here's a big one. How do you guys feel about the default versus custom debate? And are you going to implement maybe like a default section of the tournament? Or
we were planning on having different ideas, or we were having different ideas regarding that. We actually did a poll regarding whether we wanted to do defaults or custom, and a lot of people online wanted to do customs, if I remember correctly. However, I did not want to have people who voted for defaults to be mad at us. So we're still trying to think of a way to actually implement defaults as well.
Yeah,
maybe
there's
it could
been some discrepancies because the way we have the gym set up is that anyone can come in with any character or loadout, but the gym members and leaders, they had to stick to their character and their defaults. That was one of the key components that we had in having these gyms. So that way, the challengers coming in can test out the matchup at its base.
Right, that kind of makes sense since it kind of fits the theme of the whole gym and kind of makes it more thematic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then some members are saying, "Oh, I'm not confident with this loadout. I'm not the one that uses defaults." That's one of the things we've been discussing in lieu of the next season of how we're going to set this up. Are we going to allow the members to use customs so that way they can go at it with their best? So that way they don't feel discouraged. That way they feel like they did as much as they could to defend their gym or at least have a good match.
Okay, yeah, I was just curious. I'm not going to say too much about that. I don't want to get flamed about anything, but
Don't worry.
all right, guys. So I know that I filled out some sort of Google form, a survey for season 2. Is that still going on?
It is actually still going on in a way. I wanted to extend it until Sunday, just so we have as many votes as possible, considering it's the Christmas season. But so far, at the moment, a lot of people... Well, first of all, the actual poll that we had done was whether or not we would region lock the Colosseum to either North America or Europe because of regional lag. And it has been like a common occurrence regarding the Elite Four and some gym leader matches. Gym leader matches. So what we did was just have the community decide ultimately whether or not we should region lock it. And from the results at the moment, a lot of people don't want region locking, which I'm kind of happy with because I want everyone participating.
Yeah, I definitely voted for region free just because it brings everyone together. I mean, like Gasuve, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. He's a regular member of my Discord, and like, I can't imagine him being in a different tournament than everyone else. That's kind of weird.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that at least the community had a chance to see what we can do to remedy the lag, because I know some of these matches were difficult for both the staff and the challengers. So I wanted to just make sure what would be the best plan if region locking was an option. But a lot of people didn't want it, so we're not going to allow it for Season 2. There will not be any region locking.
Okay. Well, I'm okay with that. Okay, I forgot to ask this earlier. I was curious, in the Discord, I've noticed, Nero, you've been a kahuna since I've been in the Discord, and Linkable, you were a trial leader, and those are the Sun and Moon style gyms. Do you guys have plans to, like, kind of expand beyond gyms, or what is that about?
We actually had plans to create a battle frontier in order for the Silver League to actually challenge in. Basically the equivalent to the Elite Four, but we're still working on that actually. We want to make sure that there's a good format for the Silver League that everyone would enjoy and actually participate in. That way the battle frontier can be something that the Silver League can participate in.
Okay, cool. All right, so I guess my final question here, when is the sign-up for Season 2 going to happen? Or when is Season 2 starting? Do we have a date yet?
Soon.
Soon.
That's to be determined. Once we have all the logistics set up and all the staff filled in, we'll be able to finalize the date. But for now, just keep a lookout on that one.
Okay. Could we maybe say, like, maybe late January? Could that be maybe
That's plausible.
Around
That's
then?
plausible.
It's plausible.
Okay.
Another thing that we're worried about is the actual Nintendo Online service being blocked by a paywall. We want to make sure that when that date will happen, because we don't want actual community members to be blocked out from that. Like anyone who is actually doing the gym challenges or actually part of the staff, if they can't actually participate because of that, we're going to have a lot of trouble if we actually start before that happens. So we're trying to make sure that we have precautions before that happens.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. It's only like $20 a month, but I'm sure there will be some people who are like, oh, I've been playing this for a year already. I'm not going to pay now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, how can people get in contact with you? I'll put a link to the Discord down in the description here, but do you guys have Twitter or anything like that?
I actually do have a Twitter, however, it's not really made for ARMS at the moment. But you can still contact you there if you wish. It's Hatena Linkable on Twitter.
And then for me, you can just contact me at Nedu Senpai. So, yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. It's really good to figure out a little more info about the Colosseum. And hopefully everyone else realizes how cool it is. Because I'm excited. You guys have done such a good job with building the community. And I hope that more people recognize that.
Thank you. Thank you for actually interviewing us as well, because I wasn't expecting it.
It's really appreciated.
Yeah, no problem, guys.